Debbie.
Good morning, Carolyn.
How are you doing today?
Very good. It's a beautiful day outside.
It is. It's not Monday, it's Tuesday, so that's always a good thing. Get past that first day of the week.
Without a doubt. And there's no snow here, so we've had snow a couple times during this lockdown.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Yeah.
It's yesterday we had tornadoes over here, which was kind of crazy.
A little excitement doesn't hurt anyone, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, so we're just waiting for a couple people to get on here and get live with us. We're live here
Okay.
on Facebook. I'm just going to bring it up so we could see. I know a lot of people are excited about you being on here today. So
I'm very excited to be here. I miss talking to everybody.
I know, it's kind of crazy. But let's see, we're live and we got some people. We've got Steve Zazulik already joined. Ace has been watching every day. Jeremy Floyd, he's watching. So everybody's digging and everybody's anxious to hear what Debbie's been up to and what's going on. Before we get into who Debbie is, for those who don't know, we got some interesting stuff going on today, don't we, Debbie?
We have some fun stuff going on.
Yes, we do. You want to tell everybody what we got going on?
Yep. So for the people that are live, we're going to do a selfie contest, and we're going to pick random entries for winners. So you're going to want to take a selfie along with Carolyn and I. And we have a sample. We did a test here yesterday. And then you're going to want to send it. Use hashtag Minelab Kellyco and hashtag Minelab. So you can send a picture of us live on the screen with you wearing any Minelab apparel that you might have or holding your Minelab detector. And then if you're watching this taped, you can do the same thing. You just need to have it submitted before 8 p.m. Central Time tonight.
And I got up on my background. For those of you watching, you can see what the background looks like so that everybody knows what's going on. Let's see. I hope they can see me. I don't know what's going on. Some little technical issues today, Debbie. They want to see your smiling face instead of me.
Well, no, I'm just kidding.
So there we go. So that's a sample of what it's going to look like. Just a picture of you with us in the background.
That's it. Should we tell everybody how long it took us to get that picture?
That took us, oh my gosh, about 15 minutes. There was a lot of blur. There were some just noses in the pictures. It was pretty crazy.
We're very technically savvy.
We are. Another thing we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going ahead and doing some polls because there's we just want to see your guys' feedback. They'll be going up if you go to the events page on the Kellyco Facebook page. You'll see them live. I'll let you know one's getting ready to pop up now in just a minute. So as those come up, we'll let you know what they are so you can answer them.
So I know what the first pop-up is going to be, so I'm just going to give a little hint of what maybe you would want to answer.
Oh boy, so everybody's really excited that you're on here. For those of them, those listening that don't know, why don't you tell us, who's Debbie?
Oh, Debbie is a crazy person. No, I'm the business development manager for North America for Minelab. It'll be 5 years this year that I've been with the company. And I'm having a blast because I used to detect when I was a kid and then I stopped. And then I started up again with this job. And you know what I'm missing the most with this whole lockdown and everything is being out and doing events. And that's on my Facebook page, or that's the number one question of, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're not traveling. How are you surviving? And then everybody's also asking if I have a good supply of Pepsi, which I do. So it's all good. So
speaking of Pepsi, I believe our first poll question is up. And the first question is, which do you prefer, Pepsi or Coke? So if you guys want to go ahead and answer that question, we'll give Debbie the results at the end of this. I'm hoping that you guys go for Pepsi.
This has turned into a very big joke that now when I go to events, there is Pepsi waiting for me in an event because people want to make sure that I have everything I need, and that's pretty much it.
And do you have plenty of supply right now, Debbie?
Yes, I do. It's right next to the toilet paper.
Okay, perfect. So I know that you do on your Facebook page, everybody who follows you, you do a lot of events. You've been doing some really exciting things this past year with all your events and with the new Vanquish that launched. You want to talk a little bit about your red light parties?
Oh, we have had a blast this last year with the Vanquish launch, and I can't wait till we can get started again doing it. But we've done things that we've never done before. So we had, as you mentioned, the red light party where we just had red spotlights around the hunt area, and people had glow in the dark bracelets and things like that. And you had a nighttime hunt, and it was interesting. People were knocking into people a little bit, but all in all, it was a lot of fun because it's no one's done it before, so it's just been a blast.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I know that you came down here to Florida, and we had one. We
Yep.
partnered up with Kellyco and the Central Florida Metal Detecting Club, and a local charity group called Esther, to help out the kids, and that was a 2-day event, and it was probably one of my favorite events that I've been to.
The kids from Esther they were amazing. It was so much fun to see their faces light up when they found something, and we definitely got some new detectors out of that for sure.
And I have a few pictures. This is, let me move out of the way, Debi, who just made a little girl happy with a go find. That was at the nighttime hunt. And then here's another one, all the kids lined up the second day at the beach. That was a lot of fun, seeing all those kids out there running around. There were so many kids out there.
Yeah, and we really didn't. We had done the nighttime event specifically for the kids from Esther, and we wanted to gear it towards them. But then a lot of them came out to the beach the next day to participate again.
Yep.
And I think you even got some that have joined your club too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, quite a few of them. And Karen Sellers, who puts on those events, she actually she went ahead and she got a metal detector, and she's been out detecting. The event really inspired her, so it's something for those kids to continue doing, and they really like doing it. And that's what it's all about.
Without a doubt. And I have to give props to, we had the best Santa Claus that was there.
Oh yeah, we did. I wish I had a picture to pull up. We had Santa and Mrs. Claus came out. There was that one little girl that turned around and that big smile on her face when she saw Santa. That was great.
Yep. It was a really heartwarming event, and everybody I think had a great time, and can't wait to do more of those for sure.
Absolutely. So we've got a lot of people tuning in, watching. Somebody's saying that Mountain Dew,
Oh,
that's
come on
better.
now.
Gary Penta, Perry Cutshaw, Mark Thomas, everybody's joining in here. Shannon Copeland, Daniel. A lot of people are tuning in to watch and see what we got in store. Let's see here. So I had the opportunity to take the Vanquish out, and we went out for a day and we used it at the beach, and it's a really good machine. I'm really impressed with the Vanquish. Any insights or anything you want to talk about with the Vanquish, Debi?
Well, we took, the biggest thing I think with Vanquish is that we took a lot of the technology that we created, multi-IQ from Equinox, and put that into an entry to mid-level detector. So you've got 4 different, we've got 3 models and then four total versions of the unit, but they're great because of multi-IQ. They're good for, in all soils, it'll find all metals, and you can use it anywhere that you go, including the salt water. It was really good in salt water, good on wet sand, that you don't get a lot of that interference, and that's all multi-IQ. So
it's a really good machine.
Yeah, for an entry level to have, multi-IQ on it and a waterproof coil, there's just a lot of features on that detector at starting points.
I believe we were down on the beach and we had some guy come up and ask us to help him out.
Yes. Yes. Now you find that, because you do a lot more beach hunting than I do, that when you're down detecting, if I'm, doing a training or an event, people will walk up and say, oh, I lost this, I lost that. Can you help us find it? And this gentleman drove up to us, and the beach was pretty empty that day, if I remember correctly. And he was telling you about the other detectors he had in his truck, but that he was going to lunch and asked us if we could find his glasses. And he pointed down in this direction. They're down that way a little bit. So you and I walked down there, and in the sand, I'll let you tell the punchline.
Oh boy, I've never had this happen. He actually wrote us a big message in the sand, lost glasses 20 feet with an arrow pointing this way.
And the arrow was pointing directly into the ocean.
It was. So we went out there and we tried to find those glasses. We didn't find them, but we tried.
Yes, we did try in the the 30-foot surf, and
Yep,
it was interesting.
it was definitely
But he
interesting.
was a smart man. I'm gonna
He
go
was.
get lunch. You guys go in the water.
Yes, that was pretty funny. I've never had anybody do that before. I have been out in the water waist deep, trying to avoid, having conversations, and a guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you got a business card?" I'm like, "Don't have one. They're not waterproof. Sorry."
But I do have to admit that I was part of a one ring find that someone came up to us while we were detecting and asked us to look for a ring. That is the coolest feeling when you find something that someone finds something that's so important to somebody that they've lost.
Yes.
I know you've done it a lot.
Yeah.
I've had one instance where I've been asked, and it was just so amazing. What a feeling.
It's one of the most rewarding parts of the hobby. And somebody actually just commented, William Mott said his favorite finds are the returns.
Yep.
Leilani says hello, Debi.
Hey, Leilani.
And Wally says good morning. There's too many comments going on. I'm trying to keep up. I just can't. They're excited. But we did just have another poll go up, and it's asking, what is your favorite Minelab detector? You guys can jump into today's event and you could go ahead and fill that poll out. So ahead of time, I went ahead and I asked people if they had any questions for you. And one of the questions that we had, should we expect something new from Minelab the second part of the year? There's a lot of speculation, I'd like to see an Excalibur 2, a deeper pinpointer, underwater pinpointer. What can you tell us, Debbie?
Well, those are great questions, and I wish I knew, and I wish I had all the answers for you. What the best way to find out what's coming out new is to register at minelab.com and be one of our VIPs. So then when we launched Vanquish,
Right.
That's where all the announcement went first. So the people that were registered on our webpage got that information before anyone else did. So I'm even registered there. So.
And also, Kellyco does put up posts as we get them.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put them up so you can tune into our site too. And the good thing, one of my favorite things about Minelab is Minelab's always doing something. They're always doing something with the technology. And every time there's an update, it's going to be something good. So that's why I like Minelab.
Yeah, and what's so neat about it too is that I have found in the 5 years I've been here, when we launch a new product, it's new technology. So when we launched Equinox with multi-IQ,
Mm-hmm.
that was the first time, that technology had been out in the metal detector. And so people understand too, that's when a product comes out, there are years and years and years of research and study put behind that product.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like come up, let's create this machine and get it out right away. We really make sure, that it's new technology, that we're bringing something new to the industry, and primarily to help our detectorists to be able to find more treasures. And that was with Equinox and with Vanquish even, that people are now going to places that they've hunted before,
Mm-hmm.
and they're find places that were hunted out. And
Yes.
as you know, I believe that no place is hunted out.
I agree.
And when you get new technology and then you go back to those places, all of a sudden there's more finds that you're getting.
Ace is requesting that you come out with a detector that can tell the difference between gold and pull tabs. Wouldn't that be something?
I would love a detector that just says flash, when I'm out in the desert, gold, gold, dig here, big nugget, big nugget.
Is that your favorite type of hunting, looking for nuggets?
I like, because I cover all of North America, I'm very, very lucky because of my job, I get to go to a lot of places that I've never known about. Mm-hmm. Within the United States alone, and get to do both relic and coin and treasure as well as gold. So okay. I find positives of both.
Right.
In my heart of hearts, to pull out a relic or a treasure and try to figure out how it got there, who was it, how did this person get there, why did they leave it? That to me is just a neat thing, and I really truly believe that finding is just as much as good as keeping something, because if, as you know, in old house sites, if you get someone's permission, here, this is what I found,
mm-hmm.
property, whatever you want. It's just the excitement of finding it.
Yeah.
And being able to say, I found this.
Exactly. That's
That's
what I
her.
like. Just
Yep.
taking a picture. I mean, I've got so many relics out there. And what surprises me a lot is when you do go to those old home sites and you say, you can have anything that you want. And there's like a really cool relic there. And they're like, oh, I'll take this clad change. I can spend that. And I'm like, what? Okay, take all those zinc pennies. I don't want them.
But have you found too, when you do hunts like that, you know, where you ask for permission, that the homeowner comes out, sees what you're doing, and then wants to do it themselves? Which I'd love to get more people involved in this.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to watch them when they find
Yes.
their first find, or you know,
Yep.
I've been to places where people have found their first gold nugget, and
Uh-huh.
they get the gold shakes. So as they're holding their nugget, their hands are shaking because it's gold, and it could be a little dot of gold,
Yep.
but they're
But
shaking. So
it's gold.
that's it.
All right, so all the viewers out there, you guys got to go to that poll, those polls, and fill them out. Right now, Coke's winning, Debbie.
Oh, come on now. Don't let me down, people.
Maybe you need to show a little bit of inspiration what the right answer is there.
Right answer.
um, so yeah, it is really cool seeing that people find their first finds. And like you said, you're very fortunate to go out there and detect in all different types of settings. We have another poll question that just went up, which is, do you prefer hunting the beach or in the field? So that's another question. Michael Boyle says he just voted, and Mark Hoover says, good morning, pirates.
Hello, Mr. Hoover.
So yeah, when you get out there and you find that find, and it's something, it could mean nothing to somebody else, but I remember I found this stencil plate and it was all balled up. I didn't know what it was, and I'm just like, I'll put this in my pocket. It looks
Yeah.
important. And when I opened it up, it took a lot of time to really unfold it, open it up, and it was from the Florida Fruit Exchange, which was huge
Wow.
because it was used before the big freeze in Florida. And after the big freeze, I mean, most of the people who were out there with their fruits and stuff, that's when they changed over to, a lot of people lost a lot of stuff, and there
Yeah.
wasn't as much oranges and stuff going out. So it was a big impact on Florida's history. So to find that piece of what looked like a balled up piece of
Right.
junk, I mean, by the time I got it open, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. So it's really
So,
cool
so
finding
I'll
stuff.
tell you a funny story. So when I usually go to events and that, as you know, I'll build test gardens to
Yes.
demonstrate the detectors, and I always use my own finds, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
bury them and put them in. So I was out with Gary Drayton. It was after, I think, one of Kellyco's events.
Mm-hmm.
Gary and I went down to the beach and we're detecting a little bit, and someone had sent him a text with a picture of a spike in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he's showing me that, you know, people send it so he can authenticate it. And I'm looking at that picture, I'm going, you know, Gary, I think I found one of those last year. And he's like, well, where is it? I'm like, I don't know. I use it for targets. Took me a month to go find it, and it ended up being period. And I was like, oh, that one doesn't get buried anymore. But see, sometimes I can't even tell what's a treasure or what's not. But it made a really
Yep.
nice tone, so I thought it'd
Mm-hmm.
be a great target for people to find. So
Well, when I found my first one, I didn't know what it was, and I called one of my friends, Alan. I said, I found the biggest square nail I've ever found. I don't know what this thing is. I sent him a picture, and he's like, well, I do believe you found a ship spike. It was pretty funny.
yeah, it's neat. It's definitely neat.
Paul said he was impressed with your pepper box find. What's that?
Oh, I was out in California, and it was actually with a prototype Equinox that we were
Mm-hmm.
out testing in that. And I came across, got a really good target. And it was the proverbial walking back to the car find, which are
Mm-hmm.
usually can be the best sometimes.
Absolutely.
And it was getting dark and my arm was tired. I'm kind of swinging the detector, and it was a good tone. I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and dig it. And as I'm digging, all of a sudden you saw one hole, two holes, three holes. It ended up being the barrel of a pepper box gun, an
Wow.
Allen and Thurber pepper box
That's
gun. So it
that's
was
really
very
cool.
cool.
That's
You know,
awesome.
every find is good. I mean, one of and I don't have it here, it's at my desk because we're working from home, as many people are. But on my desk, my very first find coming back into metal detecting was a Chuck E. Cheese token. And it has a
Really.
proud place on my desk in a little box because that was the first one that I had found coming back to this.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is it doesn't have to have any value, but it's your first good find. I
Yep.
remember when I first started detecting, I swear my metal detector didn't find quarters. I'm like, I'm never going to find a quarter. I found pennies, I found pull tabs, nails, everything. No quarters. I'm like, there's no quarters out here. And finally, I found my first quarter, and I still have that first quarter
Yep.
that I found because
It
I looked so hard for that.
it definitely means a lot. And two, the people are just great. When you're reading off names, I'm like,
Hmm.
oh my goodness, I remember them. I remember them. And I look so forward to doing those events, going
Yes.
from state to state or wherever I'm going, and seeing the people and being able to answer their questions and then learn from them too, because they're using my product a lot of times more than I can to have the
Right.
time to do it, and coming up and showing me different things that they've discovered that the machine will do.
Hmm.
So and then I put those in the memory banks as long as I can remember things. And then I can use it, help other people as well. So the group, I think the detectors group in a
Yeah.
whole are just great people. They love the hobby. They really want to get more people involved. Now they
Yes,
might
they
not
do.
tell you where they're digging gold or other coins and treasures. There's certain things they can't share all the time, but for the most part, very open. And I've learned a lot from all those people.
We have a question for you. They want to know what your somebody in the chat wants to know what your favorite find is that you found.
Hmm. It's probably it's got to be the pepper Roxanne. Has to be the top of my list.
Okay. Any other ones? What's your runner up to that?
Let's see. Well, because of a metal detector, I got into a pit, a war pit, and ended up with a whiskey bottle.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes when you're detecting, as you learn, I mean, now I know how to kind of read the dirt in Culpeper, where you follow the ash or whatnot. You might
Right.
have a good target, and then that will lead you to something that the detector won't signal on, but it gets you into that position to go for more, to find more items.
Well, I just wanted to give you an update. It looks like more people like to do field hunting than beach hunting. And favorite detector right now, the CTX is winning.
Oh, and see,
CTX, boy, that's a good machine.
and if people don't know Carolyn as well as I know Carolyn, Carolyn is a killer on that CTX.
Yeah, I do love that CTX, and I actually love the 6-inch coil on it
Yeah.
because I get into a lot of really trashy. Because I do home sites, so there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of iron, and I use that thing at those old home sites. I'll never forget. There were some. I was out with some of my friends, and they had different machines out there, and the house was old, and I knew something had to be there.
Right.
And I had that 6-inch coil, and I could not believe it. The first find I pulled up, I thought it was going to be a can, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to dig it. And it turned out to be a sterling silver glasses
Oh my
case,
gosh.
which was beautiful. Fortunately, I put my shovel through it, but I had one of my friends repair it.
That can happen sometimes. You get so excited about digging, you're not thinking about
Absolutely.
what you're gonna do. But no, that's very cool.
And then with that 6-inch coil, I was up by a fountain on the property, and I pulled out an 1877 seeded dime, which was my first seeded coin, and it was actually the year the house was built.
Oh, that's
And
very neat.
honestly, I mean, I know we don't give depth or anything. That soil was just right. The sprinklers were on, the ground was wet, and I pulled that sucker up at 14 inches with that 6-inch
Wow.
coil on the CTX.
Well, and two,
So,
on the Equinox, that 6-inch coil, for both for gold hunters and for coin and relic, that 6-inch coil is just dynamite to get, because you've got the adjustable recovery speeds on there.
mhm,
So that, along with the 6-inch, you can really separate out the targets to hear that
yes.
good sound within a very trashy area or not. And then with gold, it finds small gold.
Yep, it does. I've
Don't
seen
you
it
have some
pick.
bundles? Don't you have some bundles right now?
Yes, we do have some bundles right now. Something that Kellyco's doing. We have some different ones for the Equinox 600 and the Equinox 800. They've been pretty popular. There are limited amounts, so you guys might want to jump on there and get them. But the ones that we do have for the 800, I'm pulling it up to tell you exactly what's included with it. So you will get the Minelab Equinox with the Minelab hat, the 15-inch coil, a Minelab carry bag, and it's also going to come with the digger, some knee pads, a pouch, and a charging adapter. And it's only $1181.99, which is a great deal.
And you're ready to go right out the door and start detecting.
Yeah, it's got everything that you need in there. And then with the 600, we have it's going to come with the 600. It's going to come with the Profine 15, a beach scoop, some knee pads, a shovel and a pouch, and your charging adapter, everything you need, and it's $849. So those are some really good deals that we got going on with that right now, and they've been pretty popular. Everybody's liking them a lot.
Oh, that without a doubt. Truthfully, multi-IQ is really the key to both Equinox as well as to Vanquish, and the ease of use, because you can, if you want, on all those detectors between Vanquish and Equinox, you can turn it on and go detect.
Absolutely.
With using the factory setups and everything like that. And I'll get a lot of people that'll ask me with Equinox, Debbie, what are your secret settings that you use? I primarily run in factory presets. I'll adjust of course, my noise canceling sensitivity, and then depending on if it's a trashy area or a more pristine area, my recovery speed. And that's pretty much just how I run it. And I've had great success. And I try to keep people, when they're first using the detector, to make sure you learn what it's telling you prior to going to some place that you're either going on a hunt or you've got a good area to go detect from your research. Make sure you've practiced, build a test area at your own home and go over different targets and listen to what the machine's telling you, so that when you get out in the field, you're not frustrated.
Exactly.
Because I want people to be able to enjoy what they're doing. And part of the enjoyment is finding stuff. And granted, you will find more trash than you're going to find good targets. But
that is true.
But it's in there.
Absolutely is true. I wanted to tell a story just because I do love my CTX with the 6-inch coil, but I want to tell you about the Minelab with the 6-inch coil. There's this park that I've been hunting for years, and this place it never disappoints me. I always find something there. And I decided to bring a couple friends with me. And I'm like, it's pretty hunted out. There's not going to be much there. So there were 2 Equinoxes with 6-inch coils and my CTX with the 6-inch coil. And we were out there, and I'm telling you, this is the most trashiest place I've ever been. And all of a sudden, my friend, Jim, he goes, hey, I think I got something here. And he was using the Equinox with the 6-inch coil. And he's like, what is this? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it looked like it had a bell on it. It was a silver coin. And I'm like, this is too small to be a half. What is this? Turns out he found an 1876 seated quarter.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, I've been here a million times, but that 6-inch coil on that Equinox pulled it out, and it was pretty deep in that sugar sand.
Well, too, and I know you have multiple detectors.
Yep.
I know most detectors have multiple detectors because, to me, the Equinox is a very well-rounded machine, and the same with the CTX. It's a very well-rounded machine, but there's little things that you might want to do that you'll need a different detector to do that with.
Absolutely.
So I've seen, a lot of people with, will have a GPZ, and now they have the Gold Monster along with it. Those are tools that you're using, and it's just giving you, the better your tools, the more opportunity you're giving yourself to find stuff.
Exactly. Talking about that Gold Monster 1000, boy, I seen that thing pick up some teeny tiny nuggets. That thing's pretty impressive.
Well, I have a rule, because I do, when I'm doing trainings or out in the field with people looking for gold with the Gold Monster, so you can't find that nugget or picker or flake with 2 passes over the coil. It goes in a Ziploc bag, and then we pan it when we get back to wherever we are, because you could spend a long time looking, because Gold Monster will find a little flake.
Yes.
You'll spend a long time looking for that little flake. Right in the Ziploc.
I have a tiny little flake. Sometimes I shake the bag and I'm like, did Debbie really put something in here? Because I can't see it. And I mean, that's how small it is. And that Gold Monster, and it was loud on the Gold Monster. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's a great machine. Great machine.
Yep. Let's see here. We've got some comments in here. Somebody's saying that they're addicted to their Knox. Somebody's saying either you love it or you hate it with the Knox. Either way, one way or another. Um, James said the Equinox. Turn it on, noise cancel, turn on ground balance, and go. That's what he does. I mean, it's pretty easy machine.
Yep. Well, and two, you've got a lot. So Vanquish basically takes that technology from Equinox and puts it into an entry level where it is turn on and go.
Mm-hmm.
You can notch out different things, but and adjust your sensitivity. But it's primarily every time you turn it on, just turn it on, it automatically noise cancels, and you go out and detect. Equinox will do the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
but you have secondary functions where you can customize it a little bit more.
We have Waylon Joy in the chat, and he's saying that his Vanquish loves iron. Any tips for him?
Well, you've got to check on the sensitivities running, and then on the iron bias. So on Vanquish, when we came out with Vanquish, we discovered how to kind of average out bottle caps or
Mm-hmm.
more complicated iron. So actually, when we had done that, put that on Vanquish, we actually did an update for Equinox to put that technology that we learned for Vanquish into Equinox as well. So that's why now on Equinox you have an FE setting and an F2 setting, and then on Vanquish you have, on the 540 you have a low or a high iron bias.
Okay. So hopefully that'll help you, Waylon, with getting out there and finding more than just your iron. Like Debbie said, it's getting a new machine is exciting. It's fun, but you got to learn the machine. That machine will talk to you and it'll tell you what's in the ground. You just got to be listening for the right things, learning it, do your test garden, and you'll figure out what's there, and you'll
Right.
start finding really good treasures.
Right, and it doesn't hurt when you first start detecting to dig everything.
No.
Even though you're sure that it's going to be iron, still dig it and just verify it for yourself.
Yeah.
Because like when Vanquish came out, I dug everything.
Mm-hmm.
And same with Equinox. I dug everything that I found and kind of kept little notes. Actually, I had a little pad and kept little notes about what I was finding. So now if I go over it, and by no means am I saying that I'm an expert,
Right.
but now when I go over it, I can go, oh, wait a minute, that's a crushed aluminum can, because it's doing the same thing as before. So,
yeah.
And the same thing with looking for a site to detect. A lot of people we can give them the greatest tools,
Mm-hmm.
but it also takes some research to find out where you should go detecting. And as we said before, I don't think any place is ever hunted out, especially when you look, even if you're looking at a large coil, let's say you're using the 12 by 9 for Vanquish, that's still going to take you a long time for a certain piece of land to be able to cover every bit of that.
Right.
We don't walk in straight lines. As much as we think we're doing it correctly, we don't walk in straight lines. And I'm sure you've done the CTX, test of plotting your points so you can see that you're actually kind of serpentining when you think you're going straight and covering it. So you can have the best tools. You need to do a lot of research of where you want to go, talk to other people, join a club, especially join a club, because they'll know the laws of the area, where you can, where you can't, what you can and can't do. But then think about it, that little, you got to get this little coil over that exact spot to get that target.
And now you bring up a good point. I mean, you could be the best detectorist, and you could have somebody who just started out, but their coil went over that target and they heard it. And then you're kicking yourself in the butt because they just got a $20,000 ring. Not that that's ever happened to me, but
and I've never had somebody pull up, different breastplates or swords, right, within 10 feet of me.
Yeah, never happened. Not at all.
As I'm picking up my square nails. But,
sometimes iron is good. Digging it all. I remember when I first started digging, I was digging everything, and I still do, because it's kind of that adrenaline rush, and you're like, what is it? But if you think about it, back in the day, a lot of stuff was made of iron. So when you're going to these, when you're digging up pits and stuff, that iron's cool. And one of my favorite finds that I found I thought was going to be complete junk, but I wanted to get all the iron out of the ground to get to the good stuff. And I pulled up this tiny little cast iron toy train, like just half of it, one side of it. But if I wasn't digging that iron, I never would have found that.
Yep.
So
No, it's very cool. And you want to listen to, because like with Vanquish and with Equinox, with multi-IQ and the recovery speed, you might be detecting and you'll hear all this iron. So personally, I like hunting in all metal because I like to hear the iron, and I'm just listening for that little higher pitched tone.
Right.
And as long as I can get it to repeat, and if I hear a little something, then I start going different angles. And if I can get it to repeat, then I'm digging it.
Absolutely. Just an update from the chat. Gary Penta said his E-Track out of the box. He got 2 gold rings in 2 weeks. Mark said he's got to get solo upgraded to a Vanquish.
Without a doubt.
Christoph has joined us from Germany.
Hello, Christoph.
Let's see here. Chuck Smalley, good morning. Just in from a night in the trenches. And Christopher wants to know if we come across many snakes out there when we're detecting. It must be very dangerous sometimes.
I'm telling you. So I've been with Minelab now for 5 years, and I have yet to see a snake.
Are you serious?
I look for them. I go, okay, everybody's warning me to wear snake guards or this or that. I'm like, where are the snakes? I'm ready with my camera to take a picture. I'm ready to wrangle them too,
Well, down here in Florida, we've got so many different snakes, and they tell us, if you could see its eye looks with a slit or rounded, then it's venomous or not venomous. I'm like, I'm not getting that close to look at his eyeball and see if it's going to kill me or not. And I had one time, I let my guard down. We were standing down by a dock checking out a property, and I saw this black snake. So I'm thinking black, it's just a little rat snake.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, there goes a big rat snake. So me, my friend, and the property owner go walking. Next thing I know, this thing's like trying to jump at him. And I'm like, what is this? We realize it just came out of the lake, and it's a water moccasin, and it's striking at him. And I'm like, okay, maybe we're not going to detect here today, because he started slithering away, and I did not want to know where that snake was going at all. I've seen so many snakes out detecting, though.
I haven't seen any, so I guess when you're looking for them, you can't find them.
I've even had a bobcat run in front of us when we were out in the woods detecting. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that too is a very cool thing, because a lot of places where you're going, you're going to see a lot of, to me, if I'm out detecting, no matter where I'm at, there's other things that I'm seeing that I wouldn't have seen if I was out detecting. So if I go out and I don't find anything that day, maybe I saw, when I'm in Alaska, there's a herd of muskox walking by, or you know what I mean, things like that you just, you appreciate while you're out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Got RV or TV saying hi from Quartzsite, Arizona.
Hello, Russ.
And Chuck says garter snakes and bull snakes are great mousers in ground squirrel control. Really not sure.
Is that a hint that we should be catching these things so we can?
Maybe. I don't know. I just take off running now when I see a snake, because I'm not going to look at its eyes. Kent and Wendy from Dirt Digging PA, they're on, and Kent said that he could show you some snakes up there in Pennsylvania.
I'm ready, Kent.
And Scott wants to say, great to see you on Coffee with Kellyco, and wanted to know if you're going to go to Digstock 2020. I know for me right now, Debi, I can't make really any commitments, anything, because I do what you do. I travel, I go to events. Right now, just doing what we're doing, not making any promises where we're going to go. And that's probably the same for you.
Without a doubt. We just want everybody to stay safe and follow the mandates of the states, whatever you're supposed to do, keep safe. Like you and I are both ready to go out, because here in Illinois, we need to have our faces covered now. So now we have our Minelab.
Right here. Protect us.
That's right. So we've got those ready to go. But hopefully, everybody's staying safe and well. And then when this all, dies down and we can get back out detecting, it's going to be great to see people again that we haven't seen. As you're reading off names, I'm like, Mark and Gary and all those guys, I really miss seeing those people, and you really appreciate it more when you can't, you always.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you take things for granted, and it makes you appreciate things even more
Yep,
in
even
life.
coming down to you because we do a lot of training. I'll
We
come out and do
do.
a lot of training and events and that. So to see Leilani and Shelby, and
Yep.
everybody. So
Yep, absolutely. Um, well, the one thing I was going to say during this time, what we can do is we can go into our backyard. We can learn our
okay.
detectors, learn a lot more, set up that test garden. If you have any questions about your machine, really take the time to get out there, learn it, see what it's doing. Like Debbie said, write down, take notes, and you never know what you're going to find in your backyard. I mean, it's right in front of you, and you know it's always going to be there, so you don't go out there and really hunt it really hard.
Right.
So I'm sure a lot of people in here have some really good property that they're sitting on. Take that machine out
Oh,
right in
without
your
doubt.
backyard.
And now with schools, a lot of schools canceled.
Yeah.
If you're in your backyard, take your kid out there too. And, not that I would ever say to rig something, but I find for kids just starting out, it always helps for them to find, because you get that excitement built up. But it's a great opportunity to take your kids out and get them started.
hmm Kent wanted me to let you know his new dates are August 22nd and 23rd, with the meet and greet being on the 21st. Just so you know. And let's see. Michael Boyles wants to know where he can get one of these face shields at. Well, if you guys are tuning in, I don't know what
Yes.
they're going to do, but we do have a post up. Remember, you guys want to take a picture of yourself with me and Debbie in the background. Use hashtag Minelab Kellyco and
Hashtag Violent.
hashtag Minelab. Take a picture just like this with yourself, selfie.
With
Submit
the
that,
with a Minelab apparel on, or holding your Minelab detector.
and you guys will be entered to win something. So, and those, when are you guys going to draw the winners for that, Debbie?
So we're asking people to have all their submissions in by 8 p.m. Central Time today, and then our group will choose 10, or I'm not sure, actually I should take that back, I don't know the number, but a random amount of individuals, and they'll contact them via social media.
Okay, perfect. And I did want to talk about one more thing while everybody's home and trying to figure out something to do. Kellyco did just launch an app, a
Yeah.
treasure hunt challenge app. The details are on our website, on our Facebook page. You just download a low quiz, and then you scan the QR code, and you can enter. You can join the challenge. We've got people playing from all over the place right now, all over the U.S. I think all but 7 states. And we've got over 100 people playing, and there are prizes. So you might want to check that app out because it's a lot of fun. Have you gotten to look at it yet, Debbie?
I did. I have not yet been able to go out and start doing my scavenger hunt in my backyard, but I will start to do that. Definitely
There,
want to do it.
there's a few easy ones, Debbie. You could do your victory dance.
Okay, great.
That's one of the challenges. Do your victory dance. I think that we've got a dance down in our office, and you might have even partaken in that dance.
I would never do that.
So it's about time to wrap this up, Debbie. I mean, it's been a pleasure having you on the show and talking to you, because we're really good friends, and I love me some Debbie time.
I had a great time, and it was so nice to hear from everybody, and hopefully we can do it again.
Absolutely. On that note, any advice or anything? You kind of already did it. I like to end the note on any advice for new detectorists out there.
Practice, 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 and don't overcomplicate your machine. Like the Vanquish or the Equinox, they're made to be able to turn on and have success.
Mm-hmm.
So don't overcomplicate it. Learn what it does in factory preset. Then if you want to start, customizing it a little bit more, then go ahead and do it. But practice, practice, practice.
Absolutely. Well, Debbie, cheers to you.
Cheers. I surely hope Pepsi wins.
And today's title, by the way, was Pepsi with Debbie.
That's right.
But everybody stay safe out there. Make sure you go answer those polls and enter in that contest. And we'll see you tomorrow. Our guest tomorrow will be Jeremy, who is president of Kellyco. So that should be very interesting.
I'm calling in.
Awesome. All right, everybody. See you later. Bye, Debbie.
Thanks, Carolyn. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.